Hey, everybody, and welcome to Q&A here, the last Q&A of January 2022 here at the Dice Tower. So, man, folks, I'm excited about this upcoming weekend because I'm going to take a weekend off. I don't normally do that, and in fact, I had many things to catch up on this past weekend, and it's been crazy with Kickstarter and cruise and moving and all that. So I moved in my house, and I think next weekend I'm going to do nothing. That's not true. I'll never do nothing. But I'm going to just hang around, play some games with my kids, do a few minor things. But before we get there, I have a week full of stuff to do now. So that's what we're talking about here. We're just talking about questions. You got questions? I'm not saying I got answers, but I can answer the questions, and we'll see what happens. Did I say January 2022? I meant January 2023. Although, you also know that's what I meant. So, pedantic is out in full force. Alrighty, is there a contest? There is a contest going on right now. And so you can win a $10 a gift certificate to Game Nerds. So, if you would like to win that, if you would like to get $10 off of this fantastic store where they have all kinds of fantastic games online, all you need to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word croissant. Well, that's a hard word to spell. CROISSANT, croissant. And you get a $10 gift certificate to Game Nerds. Are croissants overrated is the question that you need to answer in the email. And the answer is, in my opinion, yes. They're fine. I don't dislike them. But I think for all the crumbliness of them and everything falling over the place, I don't think they taste that delicious. So, I just got a text from my wife. But all right, so I need to respond to her. Sorry to waste a Q&A doing that, but there we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to actual questions here. Blah, blah, blah. I get to say hi, Tom, and he might see it, says not secure. Oh, well, hopefully. Let's see here. Is the top 10 book anywhere near? It is not. I'm sorry. I will have to hunt that down and pull it out somewhere, but it is not today. I'm going to be attending my first Gen Con this year. Any tips or tricks for newbies? I'm going to make a video with stuff like that because this is definitely a question that I get asked a ton of times. Let's see here. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming Marvel United Kickstarter the most? Oh, that Age of Apocalypse expansion, probably. Any plans to return to the UK Games Expo? Well, we will see. Still working on that. Hey, Tom, I was watching the Kickstarter wrap-up party. Who blew the air horn? Kenny. And did you know they had it? Yes, I did. Again. How am I liking the new studio? I really like it. What improvements are you planning? I'm currently not planning any improvements. We're going to spend some time working on lighting in this studio and in the other studio, working on sound. These are things we're going to work on over this next coming year to make sure that we're doing a better job on them. Let's see here. I never played a Civ game. What one would I recommend as a gateway for a gamer? I don't even know what I would say there. If you're talking about a Civilization board game, I don't know that I could recommend one as a gateway game because if you play one of the lighter ones, and there's some really light ones, like I guess Deus would be considered a light one, but that doesn't necessarily lead you to the heavier ones. Right now, just play Mosaic. It's a really good one, and I think you'd enjoy it. Do you prefer Overpower's original 3-stat characters or the newer 4-stat one? Oh, the 4 stats. I like having intelligence as one of the stats. How did I meet Joey? Joey came up to me at Gen Con and did a magic trick. I'll never forget it. He asked me for my phone, took my phone, messed with it, put it down. He said, name a celebrity. And I was like, oh. In my head, I was like, Will Wheaton. No, Will Wheaton's not probably considered a celebrity. I don't know. Oh, John Wayne, because I had talked to someone about John Wayne a while before that. I picked my phone up, and it was John Wayne was on my phone. Still don't know how he did it. Really irritates me. But he's great. fun, and we are very good friends now. Have I played the Last of Us video game? I have not. Have you been watching the Last of Us HBO series? I have not. Now I need to find a key lime croissant. Here's the thing. I think croissants are just too crumbly. That's my problem with them. I think they taste fine. I don't mind one. A croissant ham sandwich is fine. But you know what's better? A bagel ham sandwich. It's just that anytime you give me a croissant, I think, what does this do that a bagel can't do? And you'll say it's lighter, and I agree on that part. But I think they taste fine, again, like I said, but I think that they're just too crumbly. And messy food bugs me. That's why I don't like wings that much. That's why I don't like sloppy joes. That's why I don't mind. I mean, nachos, you can't help that. Nachos are great, so who cares? But I don't know. I like my food to be, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Hey, Tom, I just started getting into hot sauce. I know you're a hot sauce aficionado. Any recommendations of where to get started? No, not really. Just start tasting hot sauce, see which ones you like. I'm not that big of an aficionado. If you're like, have you ever had such and such hot sauce? I'd probably say no. I go to hot sauce stores and I'm like, oh, this is all cool. And I just try a bunch out. My favorite hot sauce right now, I really like, there's an a peach onion hot sauce that Robert is here around the corner makes that I really like. Of the name brand ones, there's an Irish whiskey one that I like a lot. Irish Scream, I think it's called. Irish Cream? I don't remember what it's called, but I like that one a lot. But I kind of just jump around them. My favorites, I tend to lean towards the yellow hot sauces. Mango, if there's mango in it. If there's fruit in it at all, I tend to like those hot sauces a lot. Will there be a cruise vlog? Yes. I think that is scheduled for later this week. Do you accept volunteer help on cons and other events? You can always email us and see. I'll put you in touch with the person who runs each convention. What non-board game convention are you most looking forward to going to this year? I don't think I'm going to a non-board gaming convention. I mean, I might. I wouldn't be opposed to it if I saw one and I had the opportunity. You know, the weekend, I'm like, oh, there's a convention happening here. It's this. I'll be like, yeah, let's go check it out. But I don't have any planned. Tried the new Clue escape room game. I was very disappointed. Why do we say we're disappointed by Hasbro? We've never been given reason to expect a good product. The same reason you're disappointed by that person who keeps disappointing you and you fully expect them to do it right the next time and then they don't. Let's see here. Why do some people have a little sun next to their name when they pop up on the screen? I don't know. Does that mean they're a member of the channel? That's what that might mean. I don't know. Who knows? I'm considering starting a game library at my church. Do you have any tips or tricks for organization keeping track of pieces? I don't know. For a church, are you going to just let people check it out anytime they want? You're going to lose pieces, straight up, unless you sit there and guard them with your life. I don't know if I would make that worth its while. I think I'd rather just teach people games and let them borrow your game and keep track of it. A little gaming library for a church, I don't know how much effort you want to put into that. Is there a series where you cull games to the library, add games to the library and cull games out of it? No. I mean, I don't do that mostly because, well, it's a lot of work to just do it in general. And then I don't really feel like dealing with the people who yell when I take a game out of the library every time. Oh, but I was going to play that, but you never did. Gamers sometimes are very much like a little kid who don't play with a toy. And you take the toy away and they go, but that's my favorite. Okay, well then play it. Too late. I took it away. But if you never tell me you threw the toy away, they'll never know. Okay, I'm going to start right now. You can ask all sorts of questions here, but don't ask me specific, what do you think of a game? Because if I think of a game, I've done a review on it. And there's your thinking. If I haven't reviewed the game, then I haven't played it probably. Because almost every game that I play, I do some sort of review on. The only exceptions would be is if everyone else in the studio played it and reviewed it already, and then I got around to playing it. Like I played Lands of Galzir this weekend, was fun. But, and if someone says, when are you going to review something? The answer to that is basically when we get around to it. We have hundreds and hundreds of games here. Some of them will be reviewed this week. Some will be reviewed never. I just don't know at any given point, but you'll see them when they go up. That being said, I don't like Cthulhu Death May Die. I don't know why as much as I think it's super random. Do you think the bloat in the board game industry is harmful to consumers? People can't handle Kickstarter FOMO and have a ton of credit debt. Well, I don't ever think that that's on the people selling stuff. That's on the people buying. You don't have to get everything. And you can... I don't subscribe to the thought of the person saying, hey, buy this. And I go, oh, I bought it. Oh, it's your fault I bought it. No, it's my fault I bought it. Personal responsibility. I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. And while I don't like that companies offer these... that I don't like the FOMO that Kickstarter companies put out sometimes, like buy it now or never get it. Is it a good game? That's none of your business. Buy it now. I don't like that. I'm opposed to that. But at the end of the day, it's your fault if you buy the game. You can't blame anyone else. Don't do it. Do you guys see any drop in viewership in the weeks you're not live at some point in the week? 100% yes. I keep very, very strong track of numbers. And when we're not live, the numbers definitely go down. We're going to talk about Marvel United Multiverse on our crowd surfing platform this week. So I have a lot of thoughts on that. So stay tuned and come back and watch that when that's there. Have you ever been to Origins? Oh, I've been to Origins so many times. I've been to Origins over 10 times, I think. It was the first convention I went to. What year was that I went to it? 2005, I believe, was my first one I went to. And I went to it every year for a decade, I think. And then we've kind of faded away. Gen Con covers what Origins does. There's a lot of reasons we don't go to Origins, but a big chunk of it is essentially that it is that a lot of the stuff that we can do there and get done there is done at Gen Con. How is Will Wheaton not a celebrity? Well, that wasn't what he asked. I forget what he said. I think he said name a famous person or something like that. And I thought, is Will Wheaton famous enough? Is he looking for... I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, am I supposed to pick somebody who anybody would know? Because Will Wheaton, again, outside of nerd circles, isn't necessarily that well known. Again, I want to be really clear. I think Will Wheaton is like on a level of 100 times more famous than me. But I think John Wayne's like 100 times more than that. That's all. That's the only thing I was thinking of. With your busy life, how have you been with Elden Ring lately? Oh, I kind of I faded off from Elden Ring. I couldn't beat that fire giant. And so I just didn't play for a while when I couldn't beat the fire giant because I wanted to get to the next part of the game. I went around and fought a bunch of other stuff. I found another small boss that I couldn't beat either. So there were several people, there was a few spots I just got stuck in the game, and you need to beat the fire giant to be able to go to the next whole section, which I wanted to do, and I just never got around to it. And then, I don't know, like 2 months ago, I was like, oh, let's go check out Elden Ring, and I played, and I was like, oh my word, I forgot how hard the game was, and I was kind of out of practice. I'd have to practice to get at it, but that's just what happened with Elden Ring. Hot sauce Pain is good. Pain is good is fine. I've had that one. It's a delicious one. All right, again, another thing that I always have to mention in these Q&As, if you mention the same thing over and over and over again, you're 100% guaranteed I'll never answer it. Don't do that. Don't spam the chat. At all, please. No hot sauce for me, thank you. No, I like hot sauces. I don't even think most of them are very hot these days. I just want something to add some flavor to it. In fact, sometimes the hot sauce isn't so hot that I'm using a good chunk of it on my food, and they go pretty faster. I just bought a game that is $5 at the flea market called Operation Maccabee. In this game, you spin dreidels to knock over Nazis. That's funny. Strangest game I picked up at a flea market. I'm not sure I've ever bought a game at a flea market. Where do you get most of your board game news? Well, I get it from Corey, who does Dice Tower Now, which is our board game news web podcast. So that's where I get most of my board game news. Can kids attend Dice Tower East? Yes. Are the kids' badges only for kids that have access to the library? No, I mean, kids can attend. They need a badge, period. The kids' badge just is a cheaper badge, that's all. You can buy a kid an adult badge, but it doesn't do anything, really. We just have a certain number of kids' badges, I think. I better check with Sharon, because I don't want to be giving out incorrect information. But kids can definitely come to Dice Tower East. There's some rules, like they can't be in the hall after a certain time. I want to say it's 10 o'clock. You can't be gaming. They have to be accompanied by an adult when they're there. But yeah, kids are welcome. We have a kids' library. Am I still hot on Ark Nova, says Kurt Deppner. Well, happily for you, I'm doing my top 100 games of all time this week. Ark Nova has not shown up from 100 to 51. Today I'm doing 50 to 41 and so on and so forth. If it doesn't show up in 50 to 1, then it's really fallen off the list. It went from 1 to off the top 100 altogether. But maybe it's still in the top 50. If so, where? You'll have to watch this week and see. What game has the worst insert? I don't know. There's some pretty terrible ones out there where it's really hard to fit the stuff into. I throw most inserts away, so it doesn't really matter to me. Oh, so the Suns are channel members, says Loopy. Well, that's an easy way to tell who a channel member is. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. Is next year's Kickstarter goal a cruise ship? No. And how much money you would save? No. Where would I store a cruise ship? Yeah, because that's what people don't realize. So I'm getting a van here. That van's going to cost money. This van's going to be is a really expensive stretch goal. Because we have to get the van, and forget getting the van, buying the van, getting the van wrapped and everything. But then I got to get insurance on that van. I have to store the van. We got to put gas in the van. I got to maintain the van. It's not a cheap thing by any means, and that's way cheaper than maintaining a cruise ship. Would you go to a science fiction convention with Brandon Sanderson as the guest? Yes, for sure. What happens to the games that leave the Dice Tower library? We sell them for very inexpensive prices at Dice Tower East. What was your last Etsy upgrade purchase? Would you consider making a series on those upgrades? I do have made a series on them called How I Made Such and Such Better. I might bring that series back at some point, but I do show them off in my unboxings. The Dice Tower sign behind me is crooked. Yeah, maybe, but it looks okay to me. Do you feel confident that Marvel Snap will come in physical form? I don't feel confident, but that was one of my predictions for sure. Top 5 cookies. I've done this one before, I think. My favorite cookie is a cookie with icing on it, straight up. Especially the ones that you get at the mall. Those cookies there with icing on them, I love them. Then sugar cookie. I really like sugar cookies. Sugar cookie with sprinkles. Delicious. Sugar cookie with icing. But we'll say cookie with icing is number 1. Sugar cookie. Number 3, butterscotch. Really like butterscotch cookies. Number 4, probably chocolate chip. Maybe M&M. No, I'll pick M&M over chocolate chip. And number 5, the Hershey Kiss cookies, the one with the Hershey Kiss milk. Oh, wait. I'm going to take chocolate chip and move it to number 6. Number 4 is a Milano. Since you maintain a library for years, what's the best way you found of organizing it? By type. And that's a lot for me to go into right now, but you can look up on our channel and I talk about how I organize the library. Tell me, of all that space in the backyard of Dice Tower Studios, do you plan to more storage buildings or something else? Well, right now, I'm not planning on adding anything to it because of legalities and laws and also money. But you're only allowed to have one storage shed in a yard, so that's what we have. Have you ever considered talking about the Game Crafters crowd sales during crowd surfing? I don't know what that is, actually. Is that their version of Kickstarter? I probably won't, though. What Brandon Sanderson book would you recommend to someone who wanted to try them out for the first time? If you like fantasy, Mistborn. It's a great series. And the first book is really good. And if you like superheroes, then The Reckoners. Those would be the 2 books that I would point people to. Have I ever dressed up for Halloween as a board game character? I have not. Did you finish your series of Dice Tower Game Library, or did it go back burner? It's now part of our Board Game Breakfast show. You mentioned pizzeria when you're talking about I Split You Choose game. Did that ever come out? I can't find anything about it. I don't know. Pizzeria. You order a new pizza and split it. That came out in 2020. Oh, yeah, it was the redone version of New York Slice or Piece of Cake. It's a Polish version of the game. Sorry. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But you can just buy Piece of Cake or what was Allspox? New York Slice. New York Slice is the same thing. Okay. What RPG systems are currently being considered for the 6 episodes? Right now, nothing is being considered for those. We're still going to be laying the groundwork out for. We have the RPG episodes. We have the game show. We have a Discord. We have Van to buy. There's a lot of things to buy. But if you give us a bit, right now we're just trying to get our feet underneath us and go far into the year. We will get on that stuff ASAP. Do you ever play board games with your significant other? Yes. I've been trying to get my 2 kids to play with me, but they said they hate board games. Well, I mean, the good thing about kids is you can make them play board games. I mean, I don't make my kids play board games. If they don't like board games, I wouldn't make them play them all the time. But I'd make them play them once in a while. I'd be like, you need to get off your computer. Or the Switch or whatever. And my wife, if she wants to play, yes. If she doesn't, no. Most of the time, she's okay playing games. Is Dice Tower Essentials have any upcoming releases? Yeah, the Heroes. Well, let me pull up Dice Tower Essentials website. So let's see what games. So Foundations of Rome, I believe, is the latest one. Dice Manor just came out. Dice Manor is a fantastic game. You definitely want to check that out. Yeah, Dice Manor is the newest one, and then there's the Heroes one. I'm going to give you the name of it because I don't want to get it wrong. So Foundations of Rome just came out, and then the other one was called Freedom 5, a Sentinel Comics board game. That's the next one to come out. And another one, but I can't talk about that yet. All right. Oh, I always am amused by questions like this. What do you think the next biggest trend in board games will be? I have no idea. If I did, I'd be rich because then I could predict these things. So I don't know. Any thoughts with the color, the design, the dice? You know what? On this one, it will be a surprise. When it's done, you'll see it. That's all I can say right now. Which con has the best food options? Ooh. Well, I mean, the easy answer is PAX because the Reading Terminal is right across the street. Honestly, it's between PAX and Origins. They're just great food options. Now, I mean, Indianapolis is not bad. They have a ton of places to eat in that area. You have to work a little harder to get to them maybe than Origins or PAX, but Origins and PAX are the top 2. Then when you drop down past that, Gen Con has their thing. Dice Tower West is in Vegas. Dice Tower East is in Orlando. So there you have a gazillion restaurants in each of those. It's got to be PAX, though, probably. Let's see here. You said you were going to play Galzier. Yeah, we played it this weekend. Will we review it? I'm still working on it. The Dice Tower grew to this behemoth. Behemoth. No, we did not. And successful business. Did you take business class along the way? I did not. How do you successfully traverse the business growth while being so important to Dice Tower Productions? I'm lucky, I suppose. I try to be careful how I grow and things. I don't know. I'm going to work really hard. Luck. And good looks. No, just kidding. It's luck. There is no good looks involved at all. Is there a local fedora shop? No. All my fedoras come from across some. There's a lot from California, a lot from Vegas. I don't know that I've ever got. I bought one locally in London one time, but that's not local to here. No. Has anyone ever created a specific one for you? It's happened occasionally. Elden Ring should have a casual gamer mode. I agree, it should. I don't know why they're so opposed to that, but it is what it is. The game's still fun, even though I get my butt kicked at it all the time. My favorite hat? Well, it's not this one, although this one is in my top 10 favorite hats. I really like this hat a lot. I'll make sure I'm looking at the right hat. Yes, I really like this one. My favorite hat is probably one of my new dual-colored hats. Does anything upset you as much as someone questioning your integrity? Well, it's true. That does actually really irritate me because, we really strive on the Dice Tower for that. You can call me dumb, and maybe I am. You can call me ugly, and I know I am. You can say I don't have a lot of talent. I also know that. But when you tell me I'm lying, that I kind of take umbrage with. But does anything upset me as much? Well, I guess if you punch one of my kids, that would upset me more than you questioning my integrity. There's things that could upset me more, I suppose. I'm new to Brandon Sanderson. Do all his books involve magic? They don't. He writes sci-fi and superheroes too. I guess he must write a normal book. Maybe he has. Are board game tables worth the investment? It depends if you think they are. I can't tell you if they're worth the investment. I have a board game table at my house for the first time ever. We moved. I now have a board game table at my house. This is new to me. And it's great. We can play a board game on it, or we can eat on it. We do both. It works really well. It's a nice thing. Tables are expensive. They're not cheap to buy a normal table, but they're definitely cheaper than a board game table. So it's up to you if that's something you want. But I can't tell you if it's worth the investment. What would you say your favorite type of food is if you had to pick? Well, my favorite food is probably taco salad. I really like taco salad. But my favorite genre is Thai food. I really like Thai food. It's my favorite of the different ethnic foods. But, man, there's so many different foods. Amongst Thai, I wouldn't even know what my favorite is. Probably the volcano dishes. Are you familiar with the Apache poker chips for games? I am not. Do you buy train models? I don't. I said that was something I plan to do when I retire. You mentioned that the Dice Tower is your collection. How do you remain so calm over the risk that Grail games might get stolen? Or do you have a system in place to catch them? Nope, they could get stolen. And you can ask my employees and the people who work with me. I get not thrilled when I see my games lose pieces at a con. Lots of games go missing pieces, get beat up, sometimes go missing, at a convention. But you know what? That is what it is. I don't like that, but I would rather that happen than have no one ever play them. My collection is one of the most played collections in the world that's also kept up to date. I'll put my library head-to-head with any library, even BGG's, and BGG's has a good library. But it's a lot of work to maintain the library and keep it going. And but if I never let anyone play the good stuff on it, I don't know. This is the same way I feel when I go to someone's house and they have some cool toys, but they're valuable. You can't play with them. Okay, fine. Then why not just put a stack of cash in a little glass case? I just don't see the point of collecting things just to look at. That are not decoration. I don't mind. I got decorations here. I got little toy statues in my house. But if it's meant to be played with, then it should be played with. I just think that's fun. Star Wars Queen's Gambit, Gore to Rome, they're fun games. Why not play with them? Keeping them in a glass case or handcuffed to my wrist doesn't seem like it does anybody any good. Tom, how do you feel about the idea of a game industry putting out a yearly component box with a core set of plastic pieces that other devs can make games using to cut down on plastic waste? It's been tried a dozen times and never works. Games need specific components. What games just use generic components and use nothing else for that game? It doesn't happen. And the fact is that when someone plays a game, they want to pull that game off the shelf. It would get really annoying if you pulled the game off the shelf and you'd be like, all right, now get out the component box, and you do that. And you can say, oh, that wouldn't bother me, but obviously it bothers people. This has been tried many times and has never taken off. I'm a kid. Can my dad bring me to the Dice Tower retreat? No, we don't allow kids at the Dice Tower retreat just because that's a different atmosphere. It's for adults because it's like heavy game playing. And while I love kids a lot, we have Dice Tower East. Then come there, then come Dice Tower West. But Dice Tower Retreat, we don't want any distractions, it's just game playing. When and how did you realize you want to make a living doing the Dice Tower? Watch the history of the Dice Tower. I explain it kind of in detail there. Is the Dice Tower currently hiring? We are not. Have you heard anything about a Le Havre reprint? I have not. Let's see here. What's my favorite sport? My favorite sport to watch is baseball. My favorite sport to play was street hockey. I don't know what it would be now. It's been a while since I played a sport. My son and I went and saw monster trucks this weekend. That's something I've never been to before. How do we plan to utilize the van? Well, we're going to use the van. There's a lot of things we need the van for right now. We have a storage unit that we're constantly going back and forth. Kenny will make 20 trips to do something. Now, if we have the van, we'll be able to do it in one. We're going to use it for the Dice Tower Retreat and Dice Tower East, going back and forth. We'll be able to use it to go to different spots in Florida to visit stores and maybe do game days with people there. And we're also going to be able to use it maybe even to travel to Gen Con and bring our stuff up rather than flying. For your Zabu deck in Snap, try adding an armor so Zabu can't be destroyed. Meh. I don't often play against people who destroy my decks, so I don't know that I would use armor for that. It's not that big of a deal to me. Did you have lunch today already since you're doing this Q&A followed by the top 100? No, I'm just not going to have lunch today. I had some snack. I had some crackers and a couple cookies before doing this, and I'm just going to go right from this to the top 100. It's no big deal. I had a breakfast. I'm not answering any more van questions. I know everyone's interested in the van. You're just going to have to wait for the van when it comes. Don't worry. I'll get it done. I'll take pictures. What's my favorite part of the new house? Well, I'll tell you this. So in my new house, there's a spot I can stand where I can see almost the whole house. I can see down the hallway towards the rooms. I can see the living room, and the house is clean. And we're together. I was constantly upstairs in my office. My office is now just around the corner from the kitchen. I just like that we're all in the same area. I'm smaller family now, so there's only 4 kids, so just easier to see everyone. I really like it. Let's see here. Thoughts on the Star Wars sequel trilogy? It got progressively worse. And by getting progressively worse, it's made the first... I just don't like watching it anymore. I liked 7. 7 was fine, even if they did copy the first movie again with an even more bigger Star Destroyer. Death Star type thing. I thought 8 was fine the first time I saw it, but multiple watchings of that haven't really endeared that one to me. And I thought 9 was a piece of trash as soon as I watched it. That being said, if you like them, hooray! I'm glad you enjoy them. I just don't like them at all. Let's see here. Italian butter cookies are the best. I do like them a lot, so there's that. Snickerdoodles, I like Snickerdoodles fine, but a lot of people like them more than I do. At what age can you start introducing children to board games? 78. What does that even mean? You can introduce kids to games as soon as they can understand them. I don't know. I don't get this question, actually. Pepperidge Farm had a toasted marshmallow, Milano? Ooh. Willing to bet that Chief Sokoto is responsible for all the crooked pictures in Tom's videos. No, Chief Sokoto is pretty OCCCCD. That's about the same thing as OCD, but it's in multiple dimensions. He's not a big fan. In fact, that's why you guys have never seen him, because he feels like being in this dimension often will throw him off. He's been in our dimension a few times. There was the 1874 riots. There was there was the attempted assassination of Adolf Hitler in World War II. He was at the first, the third, and the fourth of those. We gave up after 6. If he had been at the 6th one, I think we might have pulled it off. But it's kind of tricky. See, sometimes these things you don't know about. I mean, all 6 of them had a much better chance than the one that they made the movie about, which was actually a cover for one of ours. But anyway, I'm digressing. So I don't know. The sign would bother him, but he'd be more bothered by the fact that our floors here are 90-degree angles. They're often at 94 in most dimensions and universes. The fact that ours kind of is a 90-degree, and you think perpendicular is fine, but that's because your thyroid actually handles that. Now, scientists are going to tell you differently, but it just hasn't been discovered yet. But once the scientists discover that the thyroid, if they fixed it, and it must be something that's wrong with most of our current human race, but if you can reconfigure that, which I had done, it was like a quick, they used the Sabazzi thing. They did that when they were teaching me the different languages and how to communicate with someone by just using your nose and some hairs on your eyebrows. So when we did that, they also altered that so that when you're in the 94-degree areas, you realize that that's actually normal. And our perpendicular here, which seems normal to you, like even when I talk about perpendicular, you're listening to me going, well, perpendicular makes perfect sense. It even has per and per, but perfect and perpendicular is obvious. That's a problem too, because per in many other languages is like a very dreadful insult, which is another reason I don't like cats. That being said, no. Let's see here. Hard chocolate chip or soft chocolate chip? I like both equally, I think. In Rhode Island, you can have as many storage sheds as you want. Yes, but here in Miami, if that was the case, many people would have yards full of sheds and people would be living in all of them. Let's see here. How is the parking situation at the studio? We're fine. We have plenty of spots to park in. Rank these: traditional ice cream sandwich, chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich, and Choco Taco. The Choco Taco. I used to upsell those all the time when I worked at Taco Bell. But the best of those is the chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich, then the Choco Taco, then a traditional ice cream sandwich. But better than all 3 of those are the Carvel ones, because those ones are amazing. Oh, thank you, Jay Rodriguez, for the super chat. Thank you. Could you guys have live streams of reviews filmed backyard on a nice day? There's a lot of problems with that. There's wind, sound, rain, sound, bad lighting sometimes, and glare from the sun in our eyeballs. Any plans to start up an evening show again, or have you written evenings off as a bad ratings time slot? We haven't written evenings off as a bad ratings time slot. We've written evenings off as we love our families and would rather spend evenings with them. Pete Shirey says, I would. You know what? It doesn't matter. Any more plans to have more guest top 10 lists like the Trey Parker episode? Maybe. That was very fortunate that we were able to pull that one off. Thank you for the nice words about watching the Dice Tower channel. Now that the Kickstarter is over, is there any way we can help the Dice Tower? Well, you can always watch us. That helps us, support us. You can even always PayPal us at dicetower@paypal.com or dicetower@gmail.com on PayPal. You can always wait while our pledge manager goes up. You have a chance to do, still pledge if you want to there. Has the Dice Tower YouTube channel's length of time on a video improved over the years? It definitely has, for sure. Any recommendations on restaurants at the Rio for Dice Tower West? Well, the Chinese restaurant there is very good and authentic. I like the pad thai there, although some other people told me they didn't, so maybe I know nothing about pad thai. Not pad thai. Vietnamese. Sorry, Vietnamese, not pad thai. There's a few other restaurants there. I don't think the restaurant situation there is amazing, but it's also in Vegas, so I can just go to like 8,000 other restaurants too. What was the best thing you ate this weekend? Pineapple fried rice. Me and my wife went out to eat, and they take a pineapple, they hollow it out, they chop up the pineapple, mix it with fried rice and shrimp and pork and shrimp and chicken and steak, and then put it back in the pineapple, and you eat it, and it's delicious. But if you hate pineapple pizza, you'd probably hate this too. I'm still mind-boggled. I was talking to, I had a men get together at our church last night, and I said, hey guys, next time I'm getting pizza. And someone said, better not be Hawaiian. And I've never understood the Hawaiian pizza thing. I get that people don't like Hawaiian pizza. I like Hawaiian pizza. But I get if you don't like it, that's fine. What I don't understand is the people who don't like Hawaiian pizza have made it their goal in life to make sure I also don't like Hawaiian pizza, which makes me want to eat Hawaiian pizza even more. And then they're like, oh, how dare you? You better only bring one. Well, now I'm bringing 6. Jonathan Steele, who did not watch Board Game Breakfast, says, have you read Tress of the Emerald Sea yet? It is, I reviewed it this morning. Do we get something from the Super Chats? I don't think so. Super Chats goes to the Dice Tower. Favorite theme park, not Disney or Universal? Probably Great Adventure, Six Flags. Dice Tower's best food. 3 words. Cake vending machine. What is your preferred size of rulebook? Oh, yes. Those big square ones are the worst. People need to stop doing them. Do you ever walk around a studio or one of your cons and ruminate on how you started out as just a guy talking about games years ago? Yes, that has definitely happened before. Why did you adopt a fedora? Because I like them. When did you make it part of your signature look? I don't know. I started wearing them, but I've always wanted them even as a kid. I used to look at pictures of the guys in the 40s and 50s where everyone was wearing a fedora, and I thought, why can't we do that today? They're such cool hats. Let's see. Well, here's the deal, folks. I know that people have a bunch more questions, but it is 12:45, and in 15 minutes, we're doing the top 10 or the top 100 games of all time, number 50 to 41. So I kind of want to jump on that and do that. So I'm going to kind of skip the rest of the questions, even though I have so many questions here. But here's the good news. I'll be doing this again in the future, and you can come and talk about it. Let's see here. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have time for today, folks. I apologize. I would like to talk more, but hey, you're about to see me in 15 minutes if you watch the Dice Tower Top 100. So we'll see you then. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A on the Dice Tower.